It's a pleasure to be back. Blake and I did that sportscast last week with Fresno State. This week we've got Kent State coming all the way from Ohio. Mm-hmm. And this game's going to be a blowout. Without question, This game is going to be a massive blowout.
Yeah, well, it's okay. So they're 1-2, right?
Yeah.
They just got their first win last week. Quarterback's throwing 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions.
Yep.
The running game, I think their lead running back was looking at about 4 yards average, which isn't too bad, but it's not something that's going to win you games.
No.
So what is it that Kent State could probably change up to make this thing even decently close?
Their coaching staff, realistically speaking.
In a couple hours?
Yeah. Their leading rusher, Garcia, he's got 57 carries for 238 yards and 2 tutties.
Yeah.
That's just... It's and then their leading receiver, 11 receptions for 208 yards, in 3 games. Mm-hmm. Kent State just has no productive offense. Their defense is just absolutely horrendous.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of how is Kent really going to decipher, one, how are we going to battle Fresno's defense? How are we going to get the offense moving? Is it going to be RPO? Is it going to be play action? We know Fresno State runs a lot of cover 4. Mm-hmm. The deep ball is going to be where they're going to shine, but then again, they really don't have a quarterback that's going to throw that deep ball.
Right.
So they're kind of screwed there. Their run game is horrendous. 4 yards a carry if they're lucky.
Well, I know you were talking about a scheme that you had seen in your research. You were saying that Kent State is running some sort of cover 4, but they're kind of rotating their guys to make it into a cover 6 last second. So what do you think is probably the best way that Fresno State can attack that defensive look?
Well, so you've got the 2 over the top, right? Then you've got your 3 backers, your middle linebacker playing a middle zone, and then your 2 linebackers here on the outside, and then your DBs wide out, and they're all in a zone. Realistically, when you run a zone like that, you could pass all day long, and it's going to do amazing things. Or 2, you could do like a trap, and you can run belly, you can run counter, you can run trap, you could even run a direct pitch. And all day long, that cover 6 isn't going to do anything to provide, especially given the fact that Kent State's defense it hasn't shown any productivity or growth since game 1.
Well, then what is that cover 6 look preventing? What is it actually covering?
It's more for like short pass game. So like your digs, your shallows, your slants. Realistically, if you're like Fresno, they like to throw that one skinny post out of nowhere. They run that skinny post against this cover 6. I'm sorry, that skinny post is going to be open. With the way Kent's defense plays, there's just going to be no stopping them at that point.
Now, looking at all the games that they've already played, what is their pass rush looking like?
Their pass rush hasn't been something to talk about.
Yeah.
It is just, like I said, this defense is just, they're not clicking. There's no chemistry. And the coaching just has horrendous play calling.
Yeah.
So if in some way, shape, or form Kent State decides to wake up this week and there's a chemistry that we didn't know was there,
right,
it's going to be mind-boggling. But if in the event that they do, this may be a closer game than we expect. Because they've got some dogs on the team. They do. Mm-hmm. They've got some kids that really have some potential. It's just giving them the ability to work.
So are they just a scheme away from becoming a successful football team?
I think in their division, 100%.
Yeah.
I think in their division, they're a scheme away from becoming a successful football team.
Now, setting aside their defensive struggles, like I said, their offense is looking absolutely atrocious. What do you think is leading this quarterback to throw 1 touchdown over a span of 3 games and 3 interceptions? What is making it to where they are just an absolute turnover machine with no points to show for it?
So if you've watched any of their film, their offensive line just doesn't block for the QB. They have no pocket for him, and he's just not accurate on the run. And on top of that, he really just doesn't have the weapons to dump the ball to.
Well, that's what they say. The best way to win football games, you have to protect your guy, right? Protect your quarterback with a good O-line and come after theirs with a good D-line.
Correct.
It sounds like they're lacking in those 2 elements.
Yes, 100%.
Right.
And it's not even just that, though. Their tackling is, atrocious. Mm-hmm. I know last week we talked about Fresno State having some horrible tackling. These kids make Fresno State look like they're golden.
Well, and last week, Fresno State's defense looked significantly better than what we were expecting.
Oh, 100%.
Right, I know right before the game, we were talking a lot about how this defense is lacking in tackling. They're going in this cover 4 look, and it seems like they had switched up the look. The tackling had significantly improved. Do you think that was due to the opponent that they were playing, or do you think that they are having significant improvements on that side of the ball.
You know, I think if I were a coach and I had seen that in film, I would hammer tackling drills. And that's, you know, like I said, when I was coaching for Layton, there wasn't a practice we didn't go through tackling drills. We went through tackling progression. We talked about how to make a good tackle versus a bad tackle, how angle tackling is a significantly better way to tackle than heads on. And it was something we always went over. My kids, they'd always make tackles. They handle it.
Right.
If at some point, you know, you stop coaching the small things, then little mistakes start to appear.
Yeah.
That turn into huge mistakes, right?
Yeah.
And that's what Fresno was dealing with this tackling, is they're like, you know what? Let's get these defensive schemes down. Let's get, you know, our stunts or our counters, whatever, let's get it rolling. And then they may have just left out their tackling.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it showed. First 3 games, it did nothing but show.
Yeah. Well, and looking at this team, you know, I'm trying to figure out, okay, well, what is the prediction that I'm wanting to give this thing? And, you know, I'm seeing the same things that you're seeing. Whenever I'm trying to look at the other team, I'm trying to say, hey, you know what? I don't want to be biased. I don't want to come into this thing. I'm a Fresno State fan. I'm here from Fresno. I don't want to be biased. Okay, so now how can I look at this team? And I just don't see anything to make me look less biased. Like, there's nothing I see there where I'm like, oh, there's a glimmer of hope. And it's so hard to talk about a matchup like this, because it would be like if I was going into a boxing match, right, against a professional boxer. I have no background between boxing. What are you going to say? Good luck, Blake. Right? There's just so much of a mismatch here, and so I think with this prediction, I mean, huge jump. I'm thinking 34-13. What are you thinking?
You know, that's probably not an inaccurate score at all. Just like the Oregon game earlier, right? Oregon, my boys, walked in with a 96% chance to win, right? Put on this beautiful game against Colorado, 42-6. And those 6 points were put up in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah.
That's crazy to think about. But I think this is going to be another one of those games. I think Fresno State is just absolutely going to martyr these guys.
So give me give me a point. What do you think this thing's going to end out to?
I think in the first half, Fresno State's going to put up 21-28, and I don't think Kent State's going to put up a single point. I don't even think they'll put up a field goal.
Yeah.
And then walking into the second half, Fresno State may take their foot off the gas a little bit, but as any other football coach would say, don't take your foot off the gas. Just keep pressing and let her roll.
Well, as at Kent State, first 2 games, they're scoring 6 points each. This last week, they've scored 38, so there's a huge jump.
Yes.
So you kind of have to wonder, okay, is it because who they were playing? Is it because maybe they saw something to where they've been able to find some kind of improvement, right? So what Kent State is going to come in tonight? Is it going to be the team that can score 20 points, or is it the team that can score 6 points, right?
Right.
And I think that's why I'm saying 13, because I think that some of that confidence from last week is going to carry over.
Well, no, it will.
Right.
Without a doubt, it'll carry over. The question is, how long can you keep that momentum, right? How long is Kent State going to be able to keep that momentum so they can keep the ball rolling?
And I know it sounds really ridiculous, but I think we're going to get our answer after the first 2 drives. I think
100%.
You know, I think if Kent State can't move it 2 drives, I think it's like, okay, you know what? It just wasn't enough to make this offense make it work.
Yeah, you're 100% right. I could not put it past you at all. You're 100% right. I think in these 2 drives, we're going to have this problem where either Kent State's not going to be able to move the ball at all, and it's just going to be horrendous, and it'll be a blowout. Or we may be lucky enough to have the Kent State that shows up and drops 38 points in a game.
Yeah, that's the scary thing, right? And I know it's the saying, you know, any given Sunday, but it really does. I mean, any game you can see different points being put up on the board, right? Because 100%. I know we talked about it last week. It's not my guys are better than your guys. Sometimes it does come down to mismatches, right? It comes down to, you know what, we have this scheme. It's going to beat what you're doing. Can you adapt to this? So, it's never locked in. Let's throw concrete on this thing of being a blowout. I don't see anything in the books that tells me otherwise.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. You know, people say it could be any given Saturday, any given Sunday. Cool. That's true. But what do our mismatches look like, right? I mean, defensively, Fresno State is going to dog on this offense all day long. Yeah. Right? Offensively, Kent State's defense really hasn't shown us any proof of concept of getting better. So who's showing up today, right? What players are going to show up and show out? What are the mismatches going to look like from both teams? And who's going to expedite and expose those mismatches the best?
Well, you're saying that there's no signs of Kent State improving, but again, 6 points, 38 points.
Look at who they played, though.
Okay, so you do think it's the opponent. You think if they play those same teams from week 1 and 2, you think they're scoring the same 6 points?
Oh, I think they'd get
Basically,
steamrolled.
right?
I think they'd get steamrolled again.
Okay, all right. Okay, so it's the opponent that's making it seem like they're improving. There's really not much improvement there on Kent State side of the ball, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Before I move on, I do want to address the T-shirts that are behind us. We have FOAT, stands for favorite of all time. We are selling these T-shirts. We're tailgating right outside of the softball field, Fresno State softball field, right across the street. Lots of delicious food, lots of amazing drinks. And Taylor has been out here a lot longer than me. What would you say about the people that are out here? Is there a lot of energy behind the fans on this game?
You know, there definitely is. I mean, this parking lot is just packed to the brim. And there's more and more people coming in and coming out. The stadium's supposed to be sold out from what I've heard tonight.
Oh.
Yes. The stadium is supposed to have been sold out. So, yeah, I think this is going to be this is one of the largest fan bases, in the Mountain West, right? Fresno is huge and really been on the come up in the last couple years. They just really have shown, especially coming off a Mountain West championship last year, a lot of the fans are finally like, yes, this is what we've wanted. And so they're showing up because their team showed up, right?
Yeah.
So the atmosphere is amazing. There's great people. There's lots of friendly people here. There's great food. There's great drinks, and everyone's just having a grand old time.
So you're expecting, looking at the energy of this audience or this crowd, do you think that this crowd is going to leave a huge impact on the game? The fact that we are at home in Fresno, how much of an impact do you think that that's going to make on this game?
Oh, it'll put all kinds of momentum behind the boys. Without a doubt, it'll put momentum behind the boys.
Yeah. Fresno State has been, and I know we had talked about it a little bit last week where you had said Fresno State is one that we're just climbing, right? And I remember the year or two where we had Derek Carr, Devontae Adams absolutely dominating with Fresno State.
Yeah.
And I remember people were really backing behind it. And so I think that it's a huge sign if we're selling out tickets at this stadium. If the stadium's absolutely packed, I think it has a huge positive impact on the future.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right.
So, okay, so what are you hoping to see in this game, right? What are some improvements where you say, you know what, I want to come into this game, I want to see this occur?
I want to see Fresno State run some more RPO, if I'm going to be 100% honest.
Okay.
They've got Gilliam in the backfield, and he's a dog. Kid is a dog. And then you've got Brooks out at wideout, right? So realistically, you've got Brooks that can run that slant all day long. You throw him that ball, he's coming down with it. No questions asked, especially in this conference. And then 2, you have Gilliam who's in the backfield, and that kid will just run and run and run and run. And he has tons, and I mean tons of, hi, I've just got hit, let's keep pushing. Kid does not care. I think if Fresno State started running some more RPO, especially with the duo, it'd be amazing.
See, and I want to see Mikey King go out there and drop some bombs.
Man could drop some dimes.
Chugging them down, saying, you know what, keep up with my guys. Now, is RPO probably more realistic, especially with the fact that Kent State has struggled with tackling? Probably.
Yeah.
But man, do I get excited when I see that 50-yard pass. Do I get excited when I see that touchdown, that TD down the field, right? So I would like to see that. But you're probably right. We're probably going to go RPO. I mean, if you're the coaching staff for Fresno State, are you thinking first half, let's get this thing to where it's unreachable and then we're just going to kind of cruise for the second half? Or are you thinking, you know what, let's just play what's been working and we'll just kind of gradually get this dub?
You know, as a football coach, you have to prepare individually for every team. You cannot play every team the same way. I'm sorry, you can't.
Yep.
So did their coaching staff sit down this week, watch some film and say, you know what, this is the scheme this week? 100%, without question, they did. So if we're going to talk realistically here, I think Fresno State sat down and said, listen, we know we can hit them with the deep ball. We know we can hit them with the shallow ball. And if we get ballsy enough, we can hit them with the ball midfield any day of the week. So if I'm Fresno State, I'm running to the outside. I'm running trap. I'm running RPO. I'm running deep play action, and I'm running deep balls all day long.
Yeah. No.
With maybe a cross coming midfield where you still have the ability to hit someone either, I'm hitting you deep, almost like a deep corner, or I'm hitting you on the out route midfield.
Yeah. Do you think if this cover 6 look, this cover 4/6 thing that they're doing, do you think if they keep doing, I know you had addressed the skinny posts that Fresno State likes to run, if they're hitting these short RPOs, being able to make these short completions, do you think that Kent State's going to adjust, or are they going to stick with what they've been comfortable with on the defensive side?
I think eventually defensive coordinators start to notice trends, and then they'll adjust. But it's when you make those adjustments that I will just absolutely take advantage of what you've just done and spit it right in your face.
Why is that?
Well, think about it. Let's say I've been running RPO and short passes all day. You adjust the short game. You're not expecting me to throw a deep bomb, right? So here, let me throw a go here. Let me throw a post here. Let me throw a post here, and then let me throw like a fade on the other side, right?
Yeah.
I've got nothing but deep balls. Now I'm making your DBs work. They're already flat on their feet because they're assuming that, hi, you're throwing another short ball at me. And that's the problem, is people tend to assume.
Yeah.
Let them assume. Throw the deep ball.
Well, and
especially if they get flat-footed, it's over. I'm sorry, that DB's not turning his hips quick enough to catch that deep ball. They'll be open all day long.
Well, and that's why I love the saying that Bill Belichick coins, right? Do your job. I remember I was watching Hard Knocks with the Jets, and I remember the coach saying, no, don't just do your job. Do extra. Do more than your job. The point of that saying is saying, if you're the corner and this is your spot, you don't run away from it because you are expecting something else, right? I'm telling you where to go. Focus on what your responsibility is. Don't do anything beyond it because it's going to mess up what we're trying to do.
110%. Yep.
Right.
It all comes back to who's going to do their job and how well are they going to do it.
Right. So, what are some things that you think could negatively impact Fresno State's offense?
Well, if Kent State really just decided, hi, I want to wake up this game, after some real deep film study, they're going to be able to expose a lot of our weaknesses too, because we know Fresno State's not the most put together. They're not.
Especially on the defensive side of the ball.
Oh, yeah. So, Kent State could really take advantage of that if they wanted to.
Right. So what do you think are some things that they could take advantage of if they were to get this win?
Offensively, the cover 4 that Fresno State runs. Oh, I'd expose the heck out of that.
Using what?
It depends on what offensive scheme I run, right? Because there's a couple different things you can do. In your basic cover 4, you can run anything from, your basic slants to different type of run options, or even mid-range passes like that deep in or deep out. You could throw those all day long. And if you've got terrible safeties over the top, I'm throwing a post, right?
See, I've always liked the scissors concept against cover 4.
No, and scissors works phenomenal.
Yeah, that's how you get those big plays, I think, against cover 4. Do you think that the Fresno State offensive line, do you think that they feel comfortable enough to try something deep continuously?
I think with who they're playing, I do.
Okay.
I do. The Kent's defensive line just really hasn't shown much, know?
Right.
So I think that they have the ability to throw it deep today.
So if we're talking rushing, right? Okay, so I know we've been talking a lot about passing. Rushing, I know you talked a little bit about some of your expectations there. What do you think is the success that we're going to look at here today due to rushing?
I think it's going to come from Fresno, 110%. And on top of that, Fresno's got so many different ways they run the ball that once they find what works, it's over for Kent. Kent can't tackle. And they've shown that. So as soon as, Fresno figures out, hi, this is the run game that's working, it's done. Gilliam is just running that ball all day.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I think the passing game for Fresno State has been so wildly successful that the rushing game does get a little bit underrated. It's something that...
No, 100%. I agree.
It is an incredible running game because I can't even remember what the running back's average is. I believe it's somewhere between I
think it's 5.7 yards.
I was going to say 6 yards. So he's running incredibly. It's just not something that we talk about much because Mikey Keene is coming in there. He's doing what he needs to be doing. So
100%.
Now, I think we had talked about it last week, but something that they've tried a few times is this read option look. Now, probably works great for when you're handing it off to the halfback, but Mikey Keene is not exactly this athletic, let's go ahead and hand him the ball. He's going to get us 20 yards just rushing it up the field.
Yeah.
Do you think, and now I will say, last week I saw less read option. So you think that they're starting to kind of accept the fact that this is a guy that needs to stand in the pocket, make his reads, and fire?
You know, I think Keen's a pocket passer, and that's going to suck when he tries to get drafted because the age of the pocket passer is done. The age of the pocket passer was over when Tom Brady retired.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit tougher for quarterbacks to come in and be a little bit more cemented to the ground. But I mean, we've seen there's quarterbacks where, you know what it is? There's quarterbacks that tend to stay in the pocket if need be. They can run. So like Patrick Mahomes is not a guy that I would think of as this like scrambling, watch out for his feet. I mean, he can certainly pick up yards.
Oh, he can run.
Right. Justin Herbert's another one. Right. Even, and I'm a Patriots fan, so maybe I notice it more, but Mac Jones has been running a lot more lately. So there's guys where they have the ability to run, but even then they don't feel comfortable doing so. Do you think that Mikey Keene is just not comfortable running the ball, or do you think that he doesn't have the athletic ability to do so?
You know what? I think Fresno State wouldn't have picked him up if he didn't have the ability, so maybe they just haven't broke him out of his shell yet.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's something that he does where he can roll out to the sides. He can still keep his eyes downfield. But again, he doesn't cut up field to go take off with the ball.
Yeah.
Right, and I know the week one, we had talked about that one play where he rolled out, the cornerback runs up to come stop him from taking, and he just fires it right over his head. Do you think that defenses, when looking at college, defenses are so used to these quarterbacks taking off that even when the quarterback is not that guy, that they're still kind of subconsciously looking for it?
I think realistically it depends on the coverage you're in, because you can coach stay on your man, stay on your man, stay on your man all day long, but eventually someone's not going to bite and that quarterback's going to take off.
Yeah.
Right? So it really comes down to what choice do I want to make? Do I want to give up the floater, or do I want to give up the 20-yard run?
Yeah, well, and when you have a guy that's running off like that, you don't want to be playing man, right? And I feel like what we've been primarily seeing so far in these past 3 weeks, we haven't seen much man coverage played against this Fresno State offense.
No, it's all been zone.
So maybe once he hits a man coverage team, maybe we'll see him scramble a little bit more.
Well, and it'll be a one-on-one, right? So we'll see how it plays out. I'd like to see him against some man. I would love to see it.
Right.
I would love to see how, Keene does against man. That would be amazing.
Well, yeah, because if you're playing zone, your guys, their job is stare right at the quarterback. They're reading the eyes. They're kind of doing some side steps. They might get turned around a little bit to make sure a guy doesn't get behind them. But for the most part, their eyes are on this quarterback. So if he wants to start taking off, they can react to it like that.
110%.
Man coverage, you're staring at your man. As soon as he starts going outside, inside, up top, whatever it is, that's who you're looking at. So when the quarterback finally starts taking off, those defenders are not ready to be reacting to it.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think maybe, and that's very possible. Maybe it's because we keep playing these cover 4 defenses.
Yeah, I think that may be a problem, with Keene's rushing, right? I think that the way that these zone defenses are playing, it doesn't give him an ability to get to the outside, right? Get to the outside where he can go out of bounds real quick if he needs to, because I really don't know that Keene's going to slide.
Well, why do you think that college teams, college defenses are playing this cover 4? Because you look at the NFL, I can't think of a defense where I go, oh yeah, those guys play cover 4 all the time. So why are we
49ers?
What's that?
San Francisco.
Oh, you guys
49ers.
play a lot of cover 4?
A lot.
So why do you think we're seeing it more frequently in college defenses?
Because the play scheme difference from the NFL to college is a lot more fast-paced, but there's a lot more, hi, let me dump this, hi, let me dump this, instead of, oh, let me take a shot, right? It's a lot closer and more of a dogfight. Versus the NFL, it's, bro, I'm a pro, all right? I make millions of dollars to do this. Let me show you what I'm made of, right? These kids are playing to get to that point, but this cover 4 is making them show skill that you would have never guessed they had.
Yeah.
This cover 4 is pushing them to have to learn skill moves, to have to learn how to juke, to have to learn how to get yards after the play.
So when looking at this game, who's your guy of the week? Who's the guy that you're relying on to perform his best?
I think it's going to have to be It's gonna have to be Keen.
It's gonna be Keen. Okay.
I think Keen is gonna have to he's either gonna have to get out of the pocket and run himself, which is what I want to see. We know Gilliam's gonna show up and show out no matter what. This running back is just produced, and I think Keen finally needs to show I'm a Division I quarterback, and I will play like a Division I quarterback.
See, I think Gilliam's going to be the guy, and the reason being is I think that they're going to get ahead so quickly that we're going to see so many run plays towards that, at the very least, the second half.
Oh no, I could agree.
Right, so I think Gilliam's really going to take off this game, not because they don't believe in Keen or Keen's going to be struggling or anything like that, but I do think that they're going to be relying a lot on the run because of that lead. They're not wanting to risk some kind of interception or a fumble, so let's go ahead and just run it down their throats, let this clock chew out.
110%.
Right. So what are you expecting for the stat line for Keen? Do you think that he's going to be throwing multiple touchdowns? Do you think he's going to be throwing a pick?
I'm going to say 2 tutties. 2 tutties for 280.
280. Any picks?
If Kent gets lucky, maybe.
Okay. All right. So what do you think are the most worrisome parts of Kent State's team that maybe you're saying, you know what, if this unit picks up, we might be looking at a close ball game? I think you said coaching, but player wise,
they have a tight end he's got potential to be a dog. He's got potential to be nasty, right? If they were to work him the right way, sure, all right, bet you've got one weapon, whoop-de-doo. But they've got a couple receivers that are like maybe 3-star, 4-star,
okay,
cool, whatever. They've got a running back though that if he could get some blocks, that kid would he'd tear it up.
So you think if they get a pretty good run blocking, if they can block for this running back throughout the game, do you think that that's going to impact this game?
It very much could.
So what do you think is the likelihood of this running game maybe taking over on the Kent State side of the ball?
I'm not going to promise anything, anything crazy is going to happen, but I will say that if Kent State in some way, shape, or form wakes up and things go right for them, we'll maybe see 14 of them. It's not going to be a dub, that's for sure. Fresno State would absolutely have to just dig a grave and sit in it for the rest of the game for Kent State to win.
Okay, so you have this is almost the free space on a bingo card. Like, this is basically the guaranteed win of the season.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or it's like playing New Mexico every season. It's a guaranteed win.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so we're going to be getting started in a bit here, getting into that play-by-play. Is there anything else that you're wanting to cover before, because we have 8 minutes left here before this game starts, so what else are you wanting to cover regarding this game?
I feel like we've covered pretty much everything we need to talk about as of right now.
It's so hard to talk about this game because I feel like it's just such a difference in talent, a difference in coaching. I feel like it's going to be such a blowout that there's not many mismatches to really talk about.
There's last week, and it's hard because last week could have been a shootout. It could have been. This week it's there's not the stat lines to say that there's going to be any type of good mismatch where it's this will be a great matchup this game. No, it's just
yeah. See, I'd be stoked if in this beginning. Here, okay, so maybe here's a fun question: How many Fresno State offensive drives do you think it's going to take until we see our first punt?
That's a good question. I don't know, man. Heck, they could even punt on the first drive for all we know.
They could.
I think it'll be the third drive. Third drive punt.
All right, so you think they'll be putting up points on those first 2 drives? Maybe look at a 10-0 situation, right?
I'd say 10-0. I mean, I would hope for a 14-0, but...
Give me the stat line for the Kent State quarterback.
Okay, so his name is Alamo. He's 35 for 64 on the season with 491 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions.
491 yards over 3 games?
Yeah.
Jesus. Okay.
Yeah, it's scary. It's scary.
Man. Okay.
So I'm talking this game, 120 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
it's just guys having a rough time in the NCAA right now, man.
You know they're getting pumped in the locker room right now, though.
Oh, I bet he's in the locker room listening to some like Mike Sherm in his beats, just like, yes, I'm gonna go handle these dogs. Nah,
Dude,
them dogs are gonna handle you. We them boys right now.
Sometimes I feel so bad for defenses when you see quarterbacks with such low performance. I mean, how frustrating! Like you stop an offense and then you're like, okay, great, now our offense has a chance, and you're right back out there a couple plays later.
It's like having Johnny Manziel as a quarterback, but then having like the 49ers current defense, right? Johnny Manziel goes out, pick, fumble, pick. Oh no, 3 and out. And it's like, hi, I'm Fred Warner, and I stay on the field 90% of the game. No one wants to do that.
No. Well, and something that not many people know is a defense, it's much more exhausting for a defense to go through a play than an offense.
100%.
And that's why when they say you tire out the defense, right? Well, what does that mean? The entire time you're playing defense, you're having to look at everything. You have no idea what's coming at you. Offense does. You're a wide receiver. You know you're going to run up 10 yards, cut to the outside into a corner route, right? As a defender, you're having to read every second to see which part you're going to be cutting in. It's exhausting.
Yep, I know.
So I mean, maybe that, you know what? Maybe that's why their tackling is so ridiculously bad, is because they're exhausted.
I mean, it's like that the whole game, though. Like, what are you doing? Partying till 6 a.m. before the game? Then you're like, all right, guys.
Yeah.
We got to show up like absolutely blasted the locker room. No, bro, you're well and rested before your game.
Yeah.
It's just like Kent State's tackling is like it's like when you're a child, right?
Yeah.
And your parents tell you, hey, don't touch the stove. It's hot. Mm-hmm. You're like, psh, I'll flip that tortilla. I'm fine.
Yeah.
No, the stove is hot. It's like when you're
Taylor, are you speaking from experience?
No, I would have never done that as a child. But it's like your coaches tell you, hey, make that tackle. I promise it'll make your life better.
So do you think that there's going to be a lot of big plays in this game? Because even if they're not playing these deep routes, even if they're doing something short, if there's 1-2 slip tackles, you could be seeing 30, 40, right, 50 yards. I mean, are you expecting a lot of big plays? This
is why I think Gilliam and Brooks are going to have a night tonight, bro.
Yeah.
I think the both of them are just going to have an absolute heyday, right? I mean, we can make an analogy to the Oregon game earlier, right? My boy Nix was absolutely dicing up this Colorado defense, and a lot of the problem was the tackling.
You know what? Honestly, watching that game, you have to think, thank God Deion Sanders is working with Aflac, because something needs to cover that hurt.
Yeah, that is 100% facts. That was a good one. I was not expecting that. That was a good one.
That's really.
Oh, yeah, but we'll definitely see how things go.
So we got 3 minutes left until this game starts. We have our predictions out. We have a full analysis of both defenses. Full analysis of. I feel like we haven't talked much about Fresno State's defense.
They're gonna dog Kent State. It doesn't even need to, like.
We don't have to talk about
their offense is just horrendous. Like I you know what? I feel like Fresno State's gonna get a couple sacks tonight, and we haven't seen that out of them all season. Like they've had what? Was it 3 sacks on the season?
Something like that. Yeah, we haven't had many sacks.
I think they're just gonna dice these guys up tonight, dude. It's gonna be
instant pressure.
You know what? If I were the Fresno State defensive coordinator, I'd blitz all night long. Look like Hitler in France. Blitzkrieg.
No.
Bro, I swear, it'd be all bad.
Oh man.
It would be nothing. It would be nothing but a blitz all night. I'm talking outside linebacker blitz. No, I'll even throw a DB blitz in there. Why not? Let's throw someone who's quick off the line. Yeah. Put him to the outside. Boom. Oh, look it. You have no one that's going to kick step all the way out flat just to cop a DB. I'm sorry, and their back cannot block.
So do you think the defensive coordinator is going to semi take your advice here, and we might be seeing a lot of blisses tonight?
I think he already knows.
He knows.
I think
okay.
he
So you
knows.
think that might be the route he's taking?
Yeah.
Okay.
If I were him, I would. I mean, Kent State's O-line can't block. We know that.
Yeah.
2, we know their pass game does not exist.
Yeah.
3, we know the run game is mid.
Yeah.
Like you made that analogy about the girl that's like a 4 at the bar at 4 p.m., but then come 11 o'clock, she's a solid 9. Yeah, that's their run game.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it's they say a 2 at 10 and a 10 at 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what that defense looked like. We were talking about how bad that defense was. Then last week they were looking real pretty. So, so we're going into the game. I do want to have another shout out here for Foat's favorite of all time. They have a whole setup here. We have the green tent. So if you guys are wanting to come out here for home games, make sure to buy one of these T-shirts. They are licensed with Fresno State football team.
Now here's the issue. So these shirts will actually be inside the stadium from now on.
Oh, okay, great.
Yes. So they're planning on moving them inside the stadium because unfortunately you cannot sell Fresno State stuff on state, like just licensed stuff on state property.
Oh, okay.
We can't sell anything here. So
they're going to do it.
They're going to do it inside the stadium. We will be here.
Yes. So if you guys are also wanting to come out, we're going to be here. Taylor's going to be out here until the end of the game. I'll be here until halftime. So if you guys want to come by, we'll be more than happy to hear your guys' opinions as well. You can always be one of the speakers here on the podcast.
Yep.
If you're inside that stadium, make sure you're looking out for Foat, favorite of all time. Anything else here, Taylor, before the game starts?
Nope. So we've got the game getting ready to start here shortly. Looks like we're looking at the end of this Ohio State it's the highlights from Ohio State and Notre Dame. Man, that game was close. Watching it earlier, it was 0-0 up until like the second quarter, and even then it was just a battle.
Those are good games right there. You're like, I'm not sure who's going to win, and there's like 2 minutes left.
You know what? And it's always been a good game between State and Notre Dame. It has always been one of those where you're like you're either on your toes or you're like, that's a blowout.
I think another thing that's going to help this game, by the way, is it is really nice out here.
Oh, it feels great. It feels great.
It is not
and
hot. There's no rain.
Last night watching the Sanger West football game, it's 7 p.m. It's 68 degrees outside.
Yeah.
I love it when California just decides to up and cool off out of nowhere. You're getting used to this 105 degree heat, and then out of nowhere it's like, hi.
You need to find some wood and knock on it, because I know Fresno weather, man. It will change over a week. We get like a nice, cool week. We're gonna be out here in the rain in just a little bit.
Run?
Yeah, you need to go sprint over there. It's I think you have really nice weather here, and I don't think there's much wind. I mean, maybe it's because we're in the tent, but I'm not expecting much wind out here too. All right, so here we go. So game's jumping in.
It looks like they're doing pregame right now, or at least from what it sounds like.
Yeah, I'm curious if because we're streaming it here on the tablet, so obviously live is going to happen a couple seconds earlier. I wonder if we're going to hear the crowd and then see the play.
Yeah. We're going to hear massive screaming, and we're going to be like, huh?
Oh, well, yeah, watch it. Yeah. That's what I think we're going to get a little fair warning before anything happens. So
110%.
That'll be cool. No, I think one of the really cool things about Fresno is that it's what I always say is that it's a big small town. So if you don't know somebody, you know someone who knows someone.
No, 100%.
Right, and so it's not that now you do get that kind of small town feel, but
to some extent.
That's our director, Mark.
Swag Dad.
Swag Daddy.
So I may have changed that camera angle a little too early. That was funny. Anyways, the game's getting ready to start. Tell me why I thought that was going to be a sousaphone absolutely ripping. Have you ever heard Fresno State's their band's opener?
No.
You know that sound that always came before I can't even think of the brand of the movies, but the bup.
Oh.
They play that, and then the band comes out, and then they start the fight song, and the team runs out.
Yeah, that.
Yeah,
man, was that
Century 21? Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the best. I feel like I haven't seen that intro in a while. Maybe they're not making as many movies.
It was hard. I was like, I think the last time I was at a state, they're playing the fight song right now. The game's getting ready to start.
Perfect.
I was, I don't know, maybe 16, 17 years old, and I'm 23 now, and I remember sitting in that game, and I heard that, and I'm like looking at Gary P. Gilroy, the band director, and I was like, yes, Gary. And then the Fight Song started playing, and I was like, yeah, that's a pretty hard entrance.
Were you in band?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. What'd you play?
I was a French hornist and a mellophonist.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah.
Hear that, ladies? He knows his mouth work.
Yeah, I played a lot of brass. I had a lot of fun. I went to church with my band director, so it was always, hey Taylor, guess what? You're gonna embrace the suck today, and then I just got stuck doing something I didn't want to. It's always how it worked.
I'm sorry, what did he say to you?
She would all, like, the phrase was embrace the suck, like embrace the worst parts of your day.
Embrace the suck, and then you would have to do something that wasn't exactly great.
Yeah, that's how it works. Have you never heard that before in your life? Listen, I know you have like the world's like darkest mind. But
I guess in prisons around the country that might be a common thing. I don't know about.
Said it in the military all the time too.
Oh, really? That was
Yes.
a common thing in the military as well.
Basic training. Second day I'm there. Our MTI's talking to us, and Master Sergeant Wright looks at the entire flight and he goes, "Listen, you're gonna learn real quick to embrace the suck. This heat sucks. Not eating sucks. Classroom sucks. Not sleeping sucks. Uniforms sucks." And we're like, "Oh, cool. Thanks."
Sounds like a blast.
Oh, yeah. Boot camp was it was a blast, dude. I have so many great friendships and memories I made thanks to boot camp. But he was right. We did embrace the suck. The gas chamber, a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Sucked.
Well, so playing football, what were you able to take from, learning about teamwork, learning about discipline? What were some of those things that you took from playing football to bringing it over to being in the military?
I think NJROTC taught me more than anything else. Yeah, I had some good football coaches, don't get me wrong. A couple of them taught me some great life lessons. Other ones, they were just there to win games, dude.
Yeah.
Versus JROTC, yeah, I mean, they were there to build us up and make us, men. They were there to show us, hey, this is what's up.
I think we got our players running out on the field.
Yup, look at that.
Woo, look at that sweet intro. Nice little entrance.
I told you I'd heard the
See,
fight
but
song.
look at that energy. I mean, you're looking at a lot of lights. Everybody's running, dancing. There's a lot of energy there. I think this is going to be a loud
Reds
crowd. Because look, I feel like Fresno. This is something that you hear a lot when you're around this area. People are saying we want something to do. People are looking for something to go support, looking for something to go experience. And I think the better Fresno State does, I think it's going to be real easy to see these crowds blow up.
I think it's quite possible. Like I said, the home side is supposed to have been sold out completely.
See, and I'm looking at the stands.
And
maybe
that's
because
the
they're
away
still,
side.
But look at you look up there, and everybody's getting their drinks and stuff because you look up there and it's looking crowded. So.
I'm telling you, I think this game is going to be massive. It's going to be great.
But how much...
I just switched cameras.
I think it was a delay on her side. Because they're watching it, I think, from YouTube or something.
What are you watching it from?
Which, by the way, we're streaming from Facebook. We're streaming from YouTube. So, share this.
Live to you on Twitch.
Share the stream. Ooh, Twitch. I haven't spent much time on Twitch, but Facebook and YouTube. So share this stream. Get as many people out here as possible so that we can all talk some football. I would also, you know what? Are you guys watching from YouTube or Facebook? Both. So if you guys have a question regarding the game, regarding the team,
Drop
if there's
a comment.
I would love to hear from you guys regarding Fresno State, regarding Kent State, regarding this specific game. I think me and Taylor trying to fill this time. I think we have a lot we can talk about, but sometimes it's difficult. I would love to hear from you guys as well. So make sure you drop in those comments.
Yeah, you guys, we saw some comments that came in after last week, and it was, obviously it wasn't completely live streamed. It was posted after. But what I will say is drop some comments, guys. Let us know what you want heard talked about. Let us know, struggles with Fresno, and opening kickoff begins.
Fresno State's kicking off. Kent State receiving.
And the struggle with special team begins.
About 16-yard line. Yeah, 16-yard line. Not exactly a great start. I feel like if you're in the end zone, just let it go.
No, 100% let it go.
Right.
Let it go, man. Take the 25 yards.
You know, and you see that in the pros too. And it's like, look, you can be a really great kick returner, but what are the chances that you're going to break this off for more than the given yards?
See, look,
So there's Michael
35
Alimo
for 64, 491 yards. And he has a rushing touchdown.
Oh, he does have. Okay, so he's. See, and when I checked, it said that he had -6 rushing yards. So, there's a run to the right side. Oof.
Maybe for
That's actually
maybe
not
for
bad.
2. Maybe
No,
for 2.
no. He gained more than that. I would have said. I'd say closer to like 5.
No, that was like 2. He was way in the backfield, all the way out, and then came up. And we got a flag on the opening play. That's crazy. Who do you think it's on? I guarantee you
It's Kent State holding.
Holding.
Yeah.
Offense. Number whatever it is.
The reason why I'm saying it's holding is because he was able to get to the outside too easy.
100%.
There was literally a second where I'm like, where is the Fresno State's player? And, yep, 2 yards, you're right. It looked like he had stumbled for an extra couple, but maybe not.
In a heavy pro set.
Low
Fake
snap.
run.
Oh, that looked like almost an interception. I want to see what happened there.
Oh, that was crazy.
That looked like, so you're looking at a curl route, and I think one of the impressive things as a corner, those curl routes, they have this timing down so well because they've been doing it, over and over again in practice. So it's like the moment they turn around, ball is in their face.
Yeah.
As a corner, you just don't have time to react. So it's incredibly impressive that this corner was able to be underneath.
Well, look
ready
at
to
how
go.
deep he is. Look at that.
That's what I'm saying. That's so crazy. Maybe they're just not
You're
afraid
8
of the
yards
speed.
off? No, they're not.
They're not afraid of the speed. So you know what? Why go to a full sprint? I'll just stay underneath. Beat me over top.
Oh, and he's swallowed in the backfield for a 3-yard loss.
3rd and 8, you run it up the middle.
It's going to be 4th and 11. Punt, what'd I tell you?
Yeah. But it's like when you're 3rd and 8, if you're running it up the middle, what is the message that you're sending to this other team?
It's like, hi, I'm giving up. Unless you really have that much trust, hope, and faith in your line and your running back.
No way. There's no way.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, when you got Christian McCaffrey in the backfield.
Oh, goodness. Well, they
Yeah.
most definitely do not. Right? I mean, they have 4 yards
You wanna
average of
sit
rushing.
Come on over.
Come on over here first.
Ooh.
My first visitor.
And what was your name?
Cole Davis.
Cole Davis. Pleasure to meet you.
Yes, sir.
Take a seat. We're doing a play-by-play talking about Fresno and Kent.
Perfect.
What's up, Cole? Blake?
Blake, pleasure to meet
Nice to meet you, man. What brought you out to the game?
I had a guy on Facebook Marketplace sell me some tickets, and I've never been to a college football game before, so figured I would come down to Fresno State and see what they got going on.
Awesome, man. Do you live here in the city?
No, we're from Porterville. Me and my wife.
All right.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm a clamper out there.
Oh, you're ECV, Eclampidus Vetus.
Yep.
Oh, I know about all you guys out there.
So tell us about your first experience at a college game.
We had a little bit of a drive, got off work today. We hit Yard House, had a little bit of food and beer, and then we came over here to some of our friends and beer pong, a little bit of cornhole, and just a good time in general.
Well, that's what we were talking about is, you come out here and the crowd here is just so energetic, right? Everybody is just so pumped. They're ready to go. So when you're looking